The main reason why I wanted to record this video was to describe some principles of life to really be living, to really be alive. Because one thing I noticed with people around the world is people don't feel alive. They don't feel like they're really living because they're always so caught up in their struggles within their mind, within their thoughts and their beliefs and their environment, especially if you're working like a 9 to 5 job or even just a part-time job or whatever they're surrounded by that affects them, that becomes their core identity. Now, to get started, the first thing I want to talk about in this core principle and having to change yourself and become the better version of yourself is to, number one, do things that you actually enjoy. Like, don't do things that will please other people. Like, go out there and legitimately find things that you like doing. Like, it could be painting, it could be playing guitar or any instrument, mountain climbing, it could be rock climbing, it could be skiing. It doesn't matter what it is, but anything that can increase that just enjoyment in your life. And I don't mean things like drugs or any short-term pleasures that only spike dopamine hits, but I mean things that provide that just fulfillment within your soul, that gives you that happiness. It can even be cooking. It doesn't matter. And by doing that, you kind of create like a lightness within your body to give that peacefulness and mindfulness within yourself. Number two, become more grounded within yourself. Stop caring about how other people perceive you and stop thinking of how you should perceive yourself. Because, mind you, there are billions of people in this world. And why live your life caring about what other people see you as and how they determine you to be, because they're putting their own projection onto you, and sometimes even your own projection onto yourself. Because believe me, I was like this, especially when I was in high school and I was younger. I had so much beliefs about myself. I didn't see myself as good enough, and I always cared what others were thinking about me and thinking that how people were projecting onto me, and then I felt maybe I am that specific person because how they felt about me. When in reality, it doesn't matter. It doesn't truly matter how people think about you, because every single person can have a different type of belief about who you are. But what really matters is how confident in the belief of who you think you are. And at least, if you don't know, just start being present within yourself. And don't let yourself get caught up in thoughts that probably don't even matter. They might just be thoughts that haven't really originated from you, just things that are going around and that you're starting to think more and more of. Number three, this is just my personal opinion, but fitness and wellness. I think when it comes to fitness, you're actually allowing yourself to, number one, care about yourself, because you're working on your body, you're working on yourself, and you also feel better after you do a workout, let's be honest. Especially when I do my freaking workouts, I do weights, I feel a good pump, and I feel like that great pump where my confidence increases. I feel better about myself. And on top of that, I have more energy throughout the day. If I'm working out in the morning or even the afternoon, I feel more energetic. Now, when I say wellness, take the time to go into nature, or even just meditating, and start listening to your internal thoughts. Because meditation gains that clarity within yourself. If you can just sit down for 30 minutes to 60 minutes by yourself, you begin to get more insight and clarity about certain situations, or even just the thoughts that you may be having. Because number one, you're becoming more of the observer. You're observing your thoughts, you're observing what may be going on, and maybe you might even get the answer that you're looking for when you're sitting down. And sometimes you even just walking or taking a stroll or taking a walk, when you are more relaxed, more in tune with yourself, the answers will actually come. because you become more in tune with yourself and connected with yourself. You're not really caring, or maybe you're not thinking about too much of the environment or anything around you or what's going on in your life financially or relationship wise. When that's not in your mind and you're present with yourself, you're actually taking the time to listen to yourself. Number four, I would say connecting with other people. Now, that doesn't mean like if you're someone who's introverted, this doesn't mean that you always have to be surrounded by people. But simple connections and just talking with people, it doesn't even have to be a relationship with like a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a partner. It could just be with friends. It could be with strangers. Just making that simple connection and going out there and actually talking to people, forming a conversation. You feel great about yourself because you feel more connection. And I believe that as people, we are meant to socialize. We are meant to connect. And although I do vouch for being in isolation, just to hear your thoughts and be with yourself to maybe gain more creativity if you're that type of person, connection can be more fulfilling. It can create more peace in life because you get other people's opinions, you can form friendships, and you also get to, if you're someone who has struggled with socializing or social anxiety, when you actually step outside your comfort zone and do that, you feel better about yourself. You feel lightness in your body. You feel accomplished once you have done that. Of course, this doesn't mean you're going to be 100% after you did that, of course, but that's just the journey of doing it. And number five, and this is my personal opinion, we all know that every day is a work or a hustle or a grind. That's what we're being told to do every day. Make that money, make that bag, look at things outside of yourself to make you feel good. Have that Lamborghini, it doesn't matter. Of course, you should always have money. But for number five is to play. Because as kids, think about it. We are always playing. We are always having fun, being fulfilled. But then when we get older, we're not playing anymore. We don't feel as creative. We feel maybe we might feel stuck. But when you play, you feel this sense of easiness and lightness within yourself. You feel enjoyment with your life, that it's not just so linear. It's not just one thing about life, how you're told to grow up and be an adult. Of course, you have to be an adult in certain areas and certain situations. But if you're always serious in life, then what's the point? If you can't just have a time to relax and just play and be with yourself or be with other people and just tune in with that inner child, then what's the point? And what do I mean by play? It can be as simple as doing fun activities. It doesn't have to be money. It can just be playing with friends and family, or even just painting or something, being playful, doing something creative. But anyway, that's all I had for today for my top five. And the things that I think that people need to have more of for the key principles to have a more fulfilling life. Because like I said, it's so easy to get caught up in the work world, especially when you're young and you grow up. And what you see on social media, which isn't 100% true, is you need to work, you need to hustle, you need to grind, you need to have this or that to have that instant gratification and validation from other people. And that's not important. That's not important. What's the point of life if you're always doing things for validation? I mean, it's so easy to go out there on social media, out there in the public, to have that instant validation. I mean, I've experienced that where I wanted that before, that instant gratification and validation, but that doesn't even give you full fulfillment. That's like temporary pleasure, temporary fulfillment, temporary pleasures, and not even full fulfillment.